Good evening, believers. How are you doing today? This is Love Coach Dasha coming to you today for the Healing Hour Live. Now, if you've never been with me before, let me tell you a little bit about who I am and what I do. I am a love coach specifically for women who want to stay and reconcile, heal up, be back together after infidelity. I know that that seems like an impossible thing. People will tell you, no, no, you should just kick him to the curb. But I think if you believe in this love and you want to stick it out, you want to heal, you want to work this out, I completely believe in your decision. I think that you would know best if you should stay or if you should go. I'm going to just believe in you, okay? So that is what I do. That is what we talk about right here live every Thursday. I think maybe not next Thursday. I don't know totally, but I'm trying to take my honey out on a little date. I found something. I don't know. If we go to the earlier show, then it will work out. But I don't know. I got to check and see. We'll find out. More to come. Anyway, let's see. I am so glad to be here with you today to talk a little bit about this healing thing, getting down the healing path. Now, I have perfected my own formula for how you are going to get off the roller coaster, start to get the relationship back on track, start to feel a little bit better, start to feel more positive and more hopeful about your relationship. It is called How to Heal and Reconcile After Infidelity. You need to know that, right? I decided to go ahead and make you an entire free guide to be able to do that. So if you're with me on Instagram, go ahead and put in the word path. It will give you the link to get that. And if you are on my Love Coach Dasha or my Love After Cheating Facebook group, go to the pinned post right at the top and it will give you the link there. All right. And what we talk about is doing the things that you can do that will start to heal you from this trauma. I know this was a trauma. Maybe you don't know that it is a trauma. Let me just acknowledge to you and say to you that it was a trauma and you have to handle it like a trauma. I know that there are plenty of things that he should be doing to fix things. I completely understand how you feel about that. But for you to heal, you are going to have to put in some work. That's just how it works, okay? Nobody is going to be able to crawl inside your brain and repair the things that need to be repaired. Only you have the capability to do that. So I'm going to teach you everything I can teach you in this little bit of an hour to help you along that path, to start you on the path to healing yourself. You shouldn't have to, but we are in that situation right now. So, in that situation, since that's where we are, let's move forward with that. All right. Taylor, I see you over there on Instagram. Hey, girl, glad you're here. All right. Everybody else on Facebook too. I see you coming on in. Make sure that you leave me comments, give me likes, give me love. Let the algorithm know you like me. All right. All right. So the simple things that I always start with are the things that are going to help you to start to mitigate the effects of the trauma right from the very beginning. If you do these four things that I'm going to tell you to do, it is going to make your mind more manageable. Okay. You're not going to be at the mercy of your emotions as much if you follow through with these things. Okay. That's why I tell you every single solitary week. All right. So, the first thing that we're always going to do every single time we get together is do our deep breathing. Have you been doing your deep breathing? If you have not been doing your deep breathing, you're doing yourself a disservice. It is very, very helpful. And the reason it is helpful is it will be the opposite breathing of trauma. The breathing that you do when you are stressed out, when you are anxious, when you are in fight or flight mode is very slow and or fast and shallow. It's not giving you a full deep breath in and you're not letting a full deep breath out. Okay. That is going to make you feel anxious on in and of itself because that rise in carbon dioxide from you not fully exhaling will make your brain think that there's something wrong. Okay. So the faster you breathe, the more your discomfort you're going to feel inside your body. You know what it feels like. Your throat gets tight and dry, feels like your chest is about to crush in on itself or either expand out, never know which one. Um, it is your heart pounding, your palms sweating, your teeth are gritted, just all of the feelings that come along with that negative breathing pattern or that anxious breathing pattern are making your body feel bad. And if you're doing it consistently, you're feeling bad consistently, and it is a physical thing that you could actually stop. You don't have to keep on feeling all bad. You can stop that bad feeling just by how you're breathing, okay? Because it is a physical thing. When you breathe like that, your body is different. Your blood flow is different. It makes you feel a little worse than you would normally, okay? So if we do our deep breathing, what we're doing is we're telling our brain, no, no, I am safe. I do not need all these physiological changes that happen when I am in fight or flight mode. I don't need those because I'm not actually in any danger. Thank you very much for trying to help me out, brain, but you got that one wrong. I am not actually in danger right now. This is just some emotional stuff that I'm dealing with right now, but it's not real danger. Okay. Doing your deep breathing will tell your body that, tell your brain that, so that you can calm down, so you don't feel so bad, so you don't feel so miserable all the time with emotions. Okay. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is do our deep breathing together. We're going to do it 3 times in a row, but I want you to be doing this 5 times, 5 times a day. Okay. 5 times, 5 times a day. I need you to do this consistently. If you do it consistently, you teach your body that even though it is freaking out right now, there actually is not any danger. And then you keep reinforcing that over and over again. And then that convinces your brain to go ahead and let it go. So then you can get off that emotional roller coaster much, much sooner. Okay. So we do 4-7-8 breathing. If you need a video of it, it is on my YouTube. Says start here and breathe. Okay. I can walk you through it, and I walk you through it 5 times, but we're only going to do 3 for the sake of time. Okay. So what we're going to do is blow out. Try and exhale so much you deflate your lungs completely. Then you're going to inhale through your nose if you can for a count of 4. Hold that breath for a count of 7 so that our bodies can actually use that oxygen we just breathed in. And then blow out like you're blowing out an entire cake full of birthday candles for a count of 8. Okay. Blow and make the noise. All right. That's going to be a trigger to your brain also that, hey, she's making that noise. So that must mean everything is okay. Let's calm down. Okay. It's helpful in many, many, many ways. All right. So, first things first, blow out. Inhale through your nose. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Last time. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Beautiful. Lovely. How does it feel when you do your deep breathing? Let me know. Should feel different. You should feel something going on in your body because it affects your body physically. When we have trauma, yes, it's mental stuff. Yes, it's emotional stuff, but there's also physical stuff. And physical stuff we can do stuff about. We can fix physical inside our body stuff. So if we're doing our deep breathing, a lot of time people will start to feel a little lightheaded. People will get sleepy. People will get kind of wired up. People will feel like they're clearer, that they can speak more clearly to their partners and be able to actually say what it is that they mean to say because they've got oxygen in their brain. Okay. It is a very, very helpful way to start to combat the physical effect of being traumatized. And if we can do that, if we can keep that up, we will show our bodies what we want them to do, so it shortens the amount of time that we stay in that stressed out, traumatized, terrible feeling in our body feeling. Okay? Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense to you. The next thing that I'm always going to tell you to do every time we get together, because of how important it is do your journaling. Have you been doing your journaling? Have you sat down with your journal at least 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening? If you're not doing that, you are doing yourself a disservice. You are not taking care of a very basic thing that will help you a tremendous amount. Okay. I am talking about 10 minutes of writing here. I'm not talking about writing a whole book. You do not need to do that. I've done that. Okay. I have a book. It's in Amazon. It's called The Wifey Handbook. I have written a book. Okay. I have sat down and written for hours upon hours. I am not asking you to do that. I am asking you to 5 minutes in the morning, give that little bit of time for yourself. 5 minutes in the evening before you go to bed, give yourself that little bit of reflection time on the day. If you do this consistently, what will happen is you'll start writing down things that trigger you. You'll start writing down secrets of your brain and of your emotions that you didn't know, because it is not clear to you in that traumatized state. You will go back and read your journal and have a completely new perspective on the things that you wrote down even a week ago. Okay? It is very important to be writing this stuff down, because day to day you're going to change. Day to day your emotions are going to change. How you're feeling mentally is going to change. You can go back to your journal, find out that not every day is a terrible day. That's a good thing to know, right? There, you can find out that, hey, this particular thing triggers me, or this time of day triggers me, or hey, this is a really, really good way for me to handle a trigger, or this particular trigger, it worked really well in the moment. Let me remember that. You will have information you need. Okay. You got to start doing it. I'm telling you, if you're not doing at least that much and you're looking at him and you're like, why aren't you fixing me? That is why it's not happening. You're not doing basic stuff that could get you on the healing path. And he could see that, oh, it is possible. And then he will rush to assist you. But if he is looking at you and he's like, she's not doing anything, she is just stuck, she does not appear like she is trying to stop feeling this bad, then he's going to think, oh, well, there's nothing that I can do about it either. And then you're in a position where you're trying to constantly make him make you feel better. Okay. We don't need that. You are going to be able to do a lot of the healing on your own. You don't need him to make you feel better. I swear to you, it's true. I know it seems like you need him. I know it does, because he was involved in the pain. So you're like, well, why shouldn't he be involved in the fixing of the pain? He will be there eventually, but you can't receive that in the defensive state after the trauma. You can't get help from the person that you were traumatized by unless you can start to get control over your feelings and allow that person close enough to actually help you. It does not work the other way around. He can't get anywhere near you, near your heart, near your psyche, near your mental issues, because you don't trust him. You are not in the place where you can let down that wall. If you start regulating your emotions, okay, right after the first phase is like devastation. The next phase is regulation. We are trying to get ourselves up off the floor, collect our marbles, get our stuff together. As you're doing that, you open yourself up enough that anything that he does actually helps you. I have seen it time and time again. So many women will tell me, well, he's doing all of the things. He's doing all of the things to fix it. I don't know why I just can't get to that place. And it's because they're not doing the work internally to get to a better place mentally and physically, so that they are able to receive all the good stuff that he's doing. So all the things that you imagine would make you feel better, imagine if you were actually fully open and willing to receive those things. Okay. If you got both of those things going on at the same time, it's much more effective. I don't want you struggling with this for years. Okay. I want you to be able to do this faster. And for you to be able to do it faster, you have to be involved. You got to be a part of your own healing. Okay. Got to be a part of your own rescue. It just is what it is. All right. I know that might piss people off. I get it. I understand. But it works the fastest. And I don't think you want to be in pain any longer than you have to be. Okay. And I don't want you to be in pain any longer than you have to be. It's not fair that you have to be in pain right now anyway. But I figure, okay, if you are, let's go ahead and get it over with as fast as we possibly can by helping the process along, understanding what's going on inside of our brains, what's going on inside of our bodily reactions, so that we can fully comprehend how we are making it worse, how we can make it better, how we can get to a healed place. Okay. Let's see. Third thing that I'm always gonna tell you every time we get together. Oh, wait. I almost forgot. Journaling. Date, time, level of anxiety. Don't forget that. I gotta tell you that every time. Date and time will help you figure out when things happen. You will know when a trigger is about to happen because you'll know the date and time that the trigger happened before. And then the level of anxiety, 0 to 10. 0 is no anxiety whatsoever. Put those down. Those are gold star days. Then there's a 10. 10 is I want to rip my hair out, tear my clothes off, run screaming down the street naked. It is a loss of control. You are throwing things at a 10. You are screaming at the top of your lungs at a 10. You don't even care if the kids are around at a 10. Okay? That is a 10. Do not write down that you're a 10 if you're just sitting at your desk thinking about what you're going to journal about. It is not correct. You got to write it down correctly for it to help you. Okay? All right. Anyway, third thing that I'm always going to tell you about every time we get together is to be grateful. Everybody that's here with me today, let me know something that you are grateful for. I still didn't get anybody on the Thirsty Thursday post. I want to hear from you the good things that are happening in your life. So if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and put it in the comments. Tell me something positive that I can share with everybody. Let me share with the class that good things are still happening, because you've got to develop an attitude of gratitude. Okay. If you want to heal, the fastest way to go about that is to get to gratitude. Okay. We can be down in the dumps. Our feelings can be terrible. Okay. And it's a big jump to get all the way up to happy, trusting, feeling comfortable. It's real hard to get there from rock bottom, feeling like garbage. Okay. Gratitude is the middle step. Gratitude is where we can step to be able to get to the happiness. Okay, we can experience hope and gratitude. All right, when we are honest about the fact that we are grateful for things in our lives, our brains change. That is what happens. And in your trauma, your brain had to change, and it went for the negative. Your brain wanted to say, oh no, everything is terrible all the time, to try and protect you from terrible things happening. And we appreciate our brains for doing that. But it's not very handy for you being in a relationship, connecting with somebody, actually loving somebody. So we can't allow that to continue on forever. What we've got to do is find things that we can be grateful for to pull us up out of that negative space. Your brain will look for what you train it to look for. In that response to the trauma, your brain automatically looks for the negative. So you can change that by consciously looking for things that you are grateful for. And your brain can't argue with grateful. It can't argue with that as an emotion. You may not be totally happy about it, but you're grateful that it exists. So your brain can't argue with you and say, oh, you're just happy and you're just blind and you don't know what you're talking about. No, you know that you should be grateful for toothpaste, okay? You know that you should be grateful that we all can use toothpaste out here in the world. Isn't that a beautiful thing? Isn't that a wonderful thing to have in existence? Okay. It changes what your brain is thinking about. It gives it a more positive thing to latch onto. And if you keep doing it over and over again, looking for the things to be grateful for, your brain will change from that negative outlook to the more positive outlook. Okay. So if you got something, put it in the comments. Let me know. I want to hear good stuff. All right. And the last thing that I'm always going to talk to you over. Hey, looking good 156. I see you over there on Instagram. Hi. The last thing that I'm always going to tell you about every time we get together is stop asking all those damn questions. Okay. I need you to do that. Okay. I need you to stop. Your brain is still physical. This is still physical effects of trauma on your body. Okay. Your brain wants to ask a whole bunch of questions. Okay. It's an effect of the trauma. It is a trauma response. It is not going to help you heal. Your brain will tell you that. Your brain will say, hey, if you answer all of these questions, if you ask him every question that I want you to ask him, then I'll be healed. I will know all the things that I need to know. We'll be healed up. Everything will feel better. Your brain is lying. Okay. It's lying to you. You must not listen. All right. The deeper you go with the questions, the more questions you will uncover because it's a trauma response. It doesn't know how to stop. Okay. It doesn't know how to stop. You have to stop it. All right. And if you keep on diving into the questions and hurting your own feelings, because he's never going to answer the way you think he should answer, that's just never going to happen. All right. He's never going to have the answer that will satisfy you. It's not going to happen. So the deeper you dig, the more you wear a rut in your brain. Your brain keeps going back to the same thing over and over and over again. Ask a question, ask a question, ask a question. And then you only feel safe asking questions, but then that doesn't last because once you've asked the question and he starts to answer, all of that safety disappears because it was false. It was a lie from your brain. Your brain told you that would happen, and it gave you that little bit of relief, and then it quit working on you. Okay, so we have got to stop that cycle. You can't keep asking all the questions. It's driving you nuts. Okay, now all that being said, it is a real physical thing. Your brain is kind of going to itch to ask the questions, okay? It's going to want to because it's part of the trauma response. So, in the times where it's just itching so bad and you have to ask something, okay? Better idea. This is the and, THEAND. These are the healing edition. This is a much better set of questions to ask. Okay. All the questions in here, there are some that could be about the cheating that could lead into a conversation about that, but there are much better questions in this box. Okay. $30 on Amazon. Go the and in the search, you'll pop right up. But much better questions to ask than the questions that your brain wants to ask on trauma. Your brain wants to try and fill in all the blanks and have this complete story and picture and movie about what happened. And the only thing that's going to do is allow your brain to have a movie to continue to play over and over and over again to you. It's not helpful. It doesn't help you heal. These questions will scratch that itch without giving your brain extra things to use as ammunition. Does that make sense? Let me know. All right. So I'll give you questions from the box. Like I said, it's like 199 questions. I've been doing this. I think I've been telling these questions since like 2021. And I have not run out of them yet. I do like 2 or 3 every week. I shuffle them every now and again. I'm trying to tell you, it's an excellent deck to just play with. It's worth $30. If you were going to pay for something, $30, that is going to help you. Go ahead and get it. All right. So I'll give you this question. This one says, when do you think was the last time I healed something through you? Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. I My husband healed me about being tickled because I was abused and tickling was a part of it. And so that gave me a very negative response. And we worked on that. I was able to let him touch me and touch my feet. And that was a big thing for a long time. Like, you couldn't touch my feet. Like, it took that, like, I desensitized myself to the reaction to it through him. So, that the good things that your partner can do for you, okay? So when do you think was the last time I healed something through you? Okay. Next question says, how would you describe my path and how is it different from yours? Isn't that a great question? Wouldn't you want to know what they think your path is versus what their path is? That's an excellent question. It's a way better question than the questions you want to ask. Okay. How would you describe my path and how is it different than yours? Okay. And then we got one more. One more says, when was the last time you considered ending our relationship and why didn't you? Okay. We're not going to focus on the first part. Okay. Let's come on now. We got to get a grip. Okay. Because you're going to get triggered a little bit if you see that question. Is when was the last time you considered ending our relationship? That's going to touch something in here. Okay. Push past it. Okay. And then why didn't you? That's the important part of the question. Okay. Got to push past the beginning, get to that most important meat of the question. Why didn't you? Okay. Because you have thought about leaving too, and there was reasons that you didn't too. So those are important. Those are good things to talk about. All right. Excellent. Better questions than you want to ask. All right. All right. And speaking of questions that you want to ask, you're here with me. Ask me some questions. Girl, let me know. As a matter of people that are here with me right now, make sure that give me some likes, give me some love. Let the algorithm know that you are here, you are listening to me, you know that I'm around. And if you are catching me on the replay, hashtag replay, give me a like, let me know that you got here a little late. I don't mind if you're late, that doesn't bother me at all. I'm here all times of the day and night, so it doesn't matter if you catch a hashtag replay, I will be happy to see it. Okay. All right, let's see. We got questions. I know we had some questions earlier. If you got questions, go ahead and put them in the comments and I will get right to them. All right, so we're going to start with what Carrie asked. Carrie asked about starting over. All right, and I had to clarify because I was like, okay, is it starting over in the relationship, like recreating it to align with what you want the future to be together? I can talk about that. If you mean starting over, like starting a new relationship, I ain't got the answers for that. All right. I didn't do that. I can only tell you what I did. And what I did was starting the relationship over, continuing on with our story, changing to the next chapter. That's what we did. All right. So starting over like that. All right. And that part of the dreams formula too, that is covered in the dreams formula too. The starting over part. First of all, the recreation phase is what we're talking about there. We had the devastation, and we're talking about when we're a pile on the floor. Then we've got the regulation where we are trying to get ourselves together. Being able to regulate those emotions opens us up to the next level, which is recreation. We're going to recreate this relationship. We are going to add in the boundaries we need. We're going to do the things that we need to do to make each other happy and feel loved and feel good about each other. That is what we're doing right now with the recreation phase. Okay. When you go ahead and open yourself up to regulating yourself, it's easier for you to start over with the relationship. In the dreams formula itself, we got that just making the decision, got recognizing the fear speech, the things that make you afraid of making that decision, evaluating the why did this happen? That's going to be part of the starting over. figuring out exactly why this happened. Then we've got the A, allowing the healing to happen. We've got to let down the walls, okay? So as you are starting to recreate, you're going to know why he did this. You probably have a better idea of why he did this than he even does, okay? It usually comes out of pain. Hurt people hurt people. So if he hurt you with this, he was hurting to think that this was a good idea to do, okay? That's just how that works. So if we can come to that understanding, at least that much compromise and understanding about where he was coming from, we can start over. We can get there if we can understand that. So we're evaluating why this happened as we're starting over. We're trying to give a little compassion, trying to have them understand, hey, yes, I can see that you had to be hurting to hurt me like this. That's where we're going to start from. Obviously, you were hurting, I was hurting. We're going to start healing up together. Okay. Allowing the healing to happen is the next step. And you've got to do the things that you would do in the happiest relationship. If he has been absolutely perfect, if he was just wonderful, if he was doing all of the things and he was the most impressive man amongst all the men that in your friend group and he's treating you like gold, how would you behave then? And that's where you start. That's where you're going to be starting over from. We're not going to start from, oh, you're terrible, and I got to drag you for a while and make you feel bad for a while before I treat you like you're somebody I love again. If we're going to heal, if we're going to reconcile, we've got to start over from the place of, I love you. I want to treat you like a person that I love because I want you to behave like I'm a person that you love. That's the basics of this relationship. That's what I want to start with. So you got to put your ring back on. Put your ring back on. Start abiding by your vows. If we got anybody on the side that we were seeing because we thought it was going to fall apart, let those people go. You don't need extra people in your relationship. Anybody that's giving you a hard time about recovering this relationship in your family, your friend group, cut them off. All right. If they're giving you a hard time, they are making you feel bad about it. You don't need that type of negativity in your life. I will talk to you if you go ahead and cut them off. Okay. You don't need that. All right. Then you have got to let those walls down, let them get closer to you. More intimacy, all of the intimacies, okay? It's not just sexual intimacy. There's plenty of other ways that you can be intimate with each other, all right? Opening up to one another, being close, and then the physical stuff too. Hugs. Give each other hugs on a regular basis. 30 seconds worth of hugging increases your oxytocin level, makes you feel more closer to that person. Skin to skin contact, hug for about 30 seconds. It feels wonderful. You feel like you really love them in that moment, okay? Even if you've been unsure about it for a minute, when you get that oxytocin flowing, you remember, oh, this is a person that I love. I do feel good in their arms, all right? You've got to start remembering what you want your relationship to actually be instead of being stuck in what it is right now, not being exactly the way you want it. We've got to see it and we've got to put all of our effort into walking that path, going in that direction. Does that make sense? Let me know. That's how the starting over happens. That's what it's allowing that healing. It's letting down the wall. It's letting yourself get closer, going on dates, trusting them, giving yourself the opportunities to trust. Even if you don't trust them very much, all it takes to trust again is to practice trust. You can experience trust again if you practice trusting. If you practice the actual act of trusting, you'll trust again. All right. But you've got to be willing to do the things. Behave like you would is it if everything was wonderful between the two of you, and then all the other kinks you can kind of work out around that. All right. Does that make sense? You all let me know. Let me go back and see if anybody's got any questions or comments about that. You let me know. Lori, hey, glad you're here. Oh, Karen, hi there. Glad you're here too. All right, let's see. All right, okay, nothing about what I was just saying. Okay, cool. All right, so then Karen, you said, how do you reconcile that so-called friends knew he was cheating, but yet no one had the balls to tell me? And how do I stop feeling like an idiot around them now? Those people were actually doing a good thing. I don't believe in going off and telling people about their marriages. I don't think that that's a good thing to do. I don't think that that is you're the messenger, okay? Chances are, okay, if they had come to you and you had been mad about it, you're going to be mad at the messenger too. That's why where that saying "don't shoot the messenger," because people often shoot the messenger. So I don't think they should have gotten involved in the first place. I don't think that they should have been in the middle of your marriage. None of your friends should be putting themselves in your marriage. I don't think that that's an appropriate thing to do. Now, I know other people feel differently about that. I get that. But I truly believe that in a marriage, this is a relationship between two people. All right. If other people are stepping in between the two of you, they are in the wrong place. I feel like stay the hell out of somebody else's marriage. That's the way I feel about it. So I know you feel like, oh, they just didn't have the balls to tell me, but they were minding their business. They were not getting in between you and somebody you love who you not leaving. So they can tell you, but what good is it going to do? Just to hurt you? That's all that they would have been doing is hurting your feelings over somebody that you really do love. You know what I mean? So they kind of stayed out of it. He actually took her around them so they physically saw her. That's something he should be more embarrassed about than you. That's something he should be embarrassed about. That in all of this process, he was so messy that he couldn't keep his stuff together good enough that he wasn't keeping his side chick away from his friend. That's him. He should be embarrassed about that. That's not something that you should be embarrassed about. So I understand that it feels like, oh, you all didn't tell me what kind of friends is that. I can understand, but then on the other hand, I'm one of those type of friends. I'm not going to get in between your marriage. I don't know what your marriage is. I don't know if he knows exactly what you're doing. You know exactly what he's doing because it's not my business. I am not in the middle of it. So, he probably put them in a very awkward situation by bringing her around, and he should be embarrassed about that, but you shouldn't. You go ahead and you stay calm, cool, collected, put together, got your crown on every time they see you. Because at this point, you're staying, you're working it out. So there's no need for you to be walking around like you're miserable. All right. And then show them that, they believe that you can handle it. You handling it. That's exactly what is happening now. You found out. Now you know. Now you're handling it. And you can still keep your friends too. You know what I mean? I feel like, I don't feel like you should feel bad. He's the one that did wrong. So if he did the wrong thing, he should be the one to feel bad. And you don't have to take responsibility or guilt for anybody else's behavior at all. You don't have to do that. So I would stick to my guns about that. Be the queen that I am, keep on treating my friends like my friends and see that they respect me and they think that I can handle my own relationship on my own and go ahead and show them that yes, absolutely I can. I can do that. I am doing very well. You know what I mean? Like that's the only thing you can do at that point to be around them is to show them that even without them telling you, you're all right. Everything is fine. You are going to still have the life that you want to have, even if they didn't tell you. Does that make sense? I know it's painful. I know a lot of people want their friends to tell them, but good Lord, like, that's a rough thing to do. That's a rough. And then, like, if your girlfriend doesn't believe you, then if she's like, no, I don't believe you. I think you're jealous. I don't think that you want us to be happy. Then what? Now, all right, they ruined the friendship with you because yeah, you didn't want to believe them anyhow. So I just feel like people should stay out of the middle of a relationship between two other people. The fact that he brought her around, that's his fuck up. That's him. He's the one should feel bad about that. He's the one that looks like an idiot. He's the one that just was doing the most. He's the one. All right. Does that make sense, Karen? Let me know. We need more clarification. We need to talk about it more. Let me know. And thanks for the likes and the love. I appreciate y'all. All right, what else do we have? Talked about the starting over. And good Lord, now I'm like, he brought her around, but now she's nowhere to be found, right? Like, he brought her around, but now she's kicked to the curb. She's out of the friend group. Nobody was interested in her in the first place. He was just being dumb. So, I don't know. I wouldn't feel too bad about it. I move on my life. Don't look at them and make yourself feel bad or feel guilty for what you are doing with your life. They stayed out of your life. You are working on your own life. You know what I mean? All righty. Let's see the other question. Saw up here. Okay, good. That makes sense. All right. Glad it does. All right. The other question that was up here was about limerence. And that was from, who was that from? Okay, if I can find it. Okay, there we go. That was from, who sent me that? Grace. Grace said that. Grace is joining me from Sydney. You might not be on with me right now, but Grace, I appreciate you. Whenever you can get on, hashtag replay, let me know you made it. All right. But talking about limerence, okay. Limerence is such a fun topic. Okay. That's when they're all wound up in their person. Okay. And I've seen it. It funnily enough, like my husband is not terribly emotional about people. And when I saw him in Limerence, it actually made me smile. It was weird because I wasn't happy about it. But seeing him all emotional and all those hormones going, and he was just into this girl, I was like, huh. I'm like, he was like that about me, but I don't think he's ever felt like that about other people. Limerence is a very interesting phenomenon. Um, when we're infatuated with people, there is a chemical change in our brain. All right. And we don't have any real control over who we are attracted to like that. We don't have any control over our brains doing this. Okay. So that's why the limerence, it hits them hard and it seems like it's really hard to get them out of it because they didn't choose it. The hormones chose it for them. Okay. So they found somebody they locked eyes with, they felt that connection. That gets the hormones going. And we are infatuated with people. It is very, very much like being addicted to cocaine. It is chemically in your brain. You are getting those same things. The reward systems are going off and lighting up. Your hormones are flowing freely. You got the hormones, you got a little testosterone flowing. Even estrogen increases when they're in limerence because that like helps you connect with the females. All right. So he is hormonal when he's in limerence. That's all it is. That's all it is. And it feels very much like love because it's the first phase of love. It's the first phase of letting yourself fall in love. But infatuation is not real long term. I really want to be committed to you love. Limerence is the same thing as that first infatuation. And that goes. That whole thing, the hormones, the fact that you are walking around like you're on drugs, obsessed with this person, um, totally thinking about them all the time, mouth watering about this person. you are only feeling like that because of the hormones, and the hormones cannot continue to be like that forever. Nobody can live like that. You can't live high all the time. You could use drugs and be high, but eventually your body is like, okay, that's enough of that, and brings you back down. So it's 7 to 9 months where you're just all infatuated with somebody, and so the limerence lasts about that same amount of time. It's like 7 to 9 months where they're just, oh, just my heart. And I just love this person so much because all of their hormones are telling them, and it's lighting up their brains, telling them that, yes, this is good. This makes you happy. You want this. All right. Because it's such a strong feeling, it is very much like a drug. And so if you were feeling any pain before that, if there was anything going on with you emotionally, that limerence, that hormonal rush is going to feel like drugs. It's going to relieve the pain. All right. It's going to make you feel better. All right. So let's see. And everybody wants to feel better. That's why drug addiction is a prevalent thing, because people will be in pain and find something that relieves the pain. And then they will chase that feeling again and again because they don't want to be in pain anymore. All right. Grace. Hey, Grace, I'm glad you're with me. You said, do you know much about limerence, how to break from it? And is there a way to break it earlier? The thing about this is you've got to ignore it. That is the way to start to break it a little bit earlier. When you see him and he's all into this other woman and he is just all over her and he is just, oh, my thoughts and my heart and blah, 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 you can't convince yourself that this is real and important. You've got to recognize that this is just his hormones. He is feeling something that he probably hasn't felt very much in his life, and it's distracting, and it helps with whatever pain he's in at this moment. And I'm not going to act like, oh, this is a threat to our marriage. Oh, he is just feeling too much for this person. And that means that I'm going to be replaced. And it's so serious. And they're going to get married and he's going to leave me. Don't go down that path. Okay. If you can behave like it is a silly thing, like it is, instead of, you can't convince him, you can't talk him out of it because this is hormones. You can't reason him out of it. You can't talk him out of it. You have to behave in a way that shows that you think this silly little thing, all right, you're enjoying yourself. It's so cute that you feel like that. I know you just love her so much. I know. That's so cute. All right. Well, when you're done with that, I'm right here. Don't you worry. I know you got a little distracted. It's okay. If you don't act like she's important, it doesn't feed the limerence. The limerence says, this is the most important person in the world, because your brain is like on drugs for that person. And so you get obsessed. And so you think, oh, they're just so wonderful. But if you're not impressed, you're like, oh, okay, you're okay. So you're going to be, all right. Well, all right. You make your choices. If you act like that and you don't get threatened by it at all, and you just let it run its course, it runs a lot faster, because then there's no resistance to it, and then it kind of burns itself out faster. If that makes sense. He has done no contact now. He wants to be with me. Aw, that's sweet, but he's still all mopey and unhappy and whatnot. Yeah. I honestly, I don't even bother about doing the no contact, because if he's still feeling like that, and the emotions are strong and the hormones are telling him, he's going to just do it behind your back anyway. So I just don't, go ahead, talk to her. Talk to her. If it makes you feel better, go ahead and talk to her, and don't act like she's a threat. But let him know, like, as we're moving forward, it's going to be less and less. You're not going to be able to lean on her. She's not going to be a crutch in our relationship moving forward. So, might want to start reeling that in, and let him go ahead and talk. Talk all you want to. That ends it faster anyway. the more they have real life interaction with this person. That's why it always crumbles so fast when they run out the door and they're like, oh, she's just the wonderfulest thing in the world and I want to be with her now. And they run out the door. That's why it always crumbles so fast, because now we have to deal with real life. Now it's real stuff happening. And oh, well, maybe you are kind of annoying. And maybe I'm not the best man on the planet for you. It starts to be clearer. It starts to be much, much clearer when they actually have that time. I don't feel like you can try and say, okay, no, I don't want you to speak to them anymore. And I get the idea behind that, but that's another thing saying, oh, I think that she's so important. She's a threat to my throne. And I am feeling so jealous. I don't want you to be near her. When you react like that, you reinforce the brain chemical saying, look, the queen is intimidated. The queen says that, oh, this is a person that could take her throne. So, yes, this must be real. These feelings that we are having must be real. And so then it reinforces it. So I say, treat her like the peasant girl she is. So if he had contact with her, then maybe he will realize she's not great. Exactly. The longer they spend together, the worse and worse the relationship becomes. I actually enjoy watching that. I know it's terrible, I know, but it just tickles me how miserable they can become by this person that they were just so obsessed with. But it's obsession, it's not love. You were obsessed with this person. You thought you knew things about this person. You thought there was some kind of connection there, but it was really just two people in pain who were reaching out for each other, trying to feel better. And then that comes through more and more. The more time they spend together, the more their pain surfaces. And now we got to deal with reality. Now we got to deal with our issues again. He was able to dump his issues and push them down in the feelings. In the feelings, you don't feel any of the bad stuff. You just go ahead and push it away. But once the feelings start to wear off, then you start feeling the bad stuff again. Then you're like, oh, my crap didn't go away. I got to still work on it. And then it seems kind of pointless to be with this person anymore because they're not fixing it anymore. They're not taking away that pain anymore. So I'm always about let them go ahead and spend all the time they want to, let it crumble apart, let them just do as bad as they possibly can. So you can see you trying to run off and be in a relationship with somebody else is not a smart idea. It caused you a whole bunch of pain and heartache. It caused us a whole bunch of pain and heartache. You were wrong. And I didn't even try and make it bad for you. I didn't try and stand in your way or nothing. You did this. Now once it's all crumbled around you, now you've got to actually come on and do your part to get this back together. You said, I'd love to do that, but she won't reciprocate it back. They're both married. You'd love to do what? Hold on. I was talking, I forgot. She won't reciprocate it back. You don't be worried about her. Okay. She is so far beneath you. You don't have to worry about what her reaction is going to be. But clarify that for me. You like to do what? I'm like, right now in that whole thing, they can be in their little fantasy world because they're both married. But the longer they spend together, the more that fantasy breaks apart. So I'd love for them to meet and see how they crap they are for each other, but I also can't have them together anymore. Yeah, if they haven't even met, they haven't met. This is an online type of thing. Oh yeah, it's real easy to do the fantasy thing online. Yeah, you don't even have to see them in real life. They could be anything. Oh, they could be so sexy in your imagination, but in real life, it's a little different. So yeah, that could have worked, but okay, we're not gonna have them go ahead and meet up. No. But if he was still talking to her and he was still kind of stuck on it, I wouldn't even try and prevent that, because then it's just this, then he blames you when it doesn't go right because you were so disapproving of my relationship with them. Yeah, it's they start to blame you for it. So if you just step out of the way of that and let that crumble apart on its own, it works a lot better. It was a this was an emotional affair with his ex-colleague and our family friend. It was a double betrayal. Okay. She was horrible to me. Well, how was she a family friend? Oh, she was horrible to you during the time, or she was horrible to you after you found out? Well, of course she would be horrible to you after. Yeah, of course she would, because she was doing something horrible. So when you're doing something horrible, you get caught doing something horrible, you start acting horrible. Well, not everybody. If you're a decent person, if you're acting horrible and people see you acting horrible, you try and fix it. But the people who are around here chasing and around people's husbands and whatnot, they're not gonna apologize. They're not gonna be sorry for it. She had already kissed him and he had kissed her, and she messaged me during my birthday after saying she can't wait to see family photos of us. She was cruel to me. And again, that is one of those hurt people things. Trying to be cruel to you, break you down, and say, "Oh, I got your husband, and I can treat you badly too." That is just trying to do something for her self esteem. She got bad self esteem. That's what it comes down to. You know her. I bet you anything you have noticed that before, haven't you? She got bad self esteem. She doesn't think highly of herself, so she has to bring other people down to be able to feel like, oh, I'm something. But, we can look at that. We need to step back from that and really try and have a little compassion for it. Trying to understand that this peasant girl is trying so hard to be the queen, and she doesn't realize this is not her fairy tale. She doesn't understand it. She is not in the right place. She is in the wrong book. And maybe that's her curse. Maybe that's the curse in her story, but she doesn't recognize that she's not in the right place. She's not in the right fairy tale. She is not trying to pursue the right king. All right. So, try and if you can look at it from the perspective of, oh, poor baby, there must be something real wrong with her. Something is really going on inside her brain for her to think that this is okay. If you can come at it from there, a lot of time you can let it go with her. We met after for a confrontation and she had no accountability. Of course not. Of course not. If you're doing all of this, you definitely don't have any accountability. You cheating on your husband with the husband of somebody you actually like deal with on a regular basis. That, of course, she doesn't have any accountability. And don't expect that from her. Okay. Again, much lower self-esteem, not on your level. She's not a queen. Queens take accountability. We acknowledge what we do wrong, we fix what we do wrong. She is not acknowledging what she's doing wrong because she's just a peasant girl. She doesn't know how to do queen stuff. So, let her be the peasant girl. Let her be beneath you like she is. Don't keep trying to confront her, talk to her about it. If he's all, still all in limerence, that's cute and all, but that's gonna wear off. And then she's gonna be sitting there, done cheated on her husband, probably gonna get caught, and her whole life is gonna crumble around her. That's what her karma is going to be. You don't even have to do anything about that. You don't have to be involved in any way, shape, or form in her messing up her own life, because obviously she's not real good at handling her own life. That's obvious from this situation. So yeah, don't give a whole bunch of concern to her. You know what I mean? He said, can't wait. Can just release that. Gotta release that. Gotta consider yourself to be a queen there. You are above her. You shouldn't even be in the same vicinity as her. That's the way I think about it a lot of times. If I'm the queen, I'm not going to sit here and associate with the peasant girls. I'm not going to go down to the stables and try and fight with them and scrap with them in the pig slop. I'm not doing that. That's beneath me. I don't need to do that. Let her go ahead and be the low value, low self esteem woman that she is. Let her work out her own crap. All right. Oh, that makes sense to you, Grace? Let me know. You got any other questions about that? The limerence thing, just let you all work on behaving like you do when you're in love with each other. Let him do the things for you that you would normally like enjoy him doing and show him that you enjoy that, and then do the things for him that he would enjoy you doing, and start to just do good things for each other. Be positive and loving and happy towards one another. It melts away the limerence. Said, how should I be with my husband now? He is trying to work it out with me, but it hurts so much. Yeah, you gotta open up. I know he's in limerence, so how do I go about this? You just go ahead and open up, because it does not matter if he is in limerence with somebody else or not. You all have a real bond. You all have the marriage. The limerence is hormonal. That's gonna go away. You all have a real life commitment. You got paperwork and stuff. You're the real queen. Okay. So you just go ahead and be the real queen. Act like the real queen. All right. We've been hysterically bonding, and now I've just stopped as I've been so crushed. Okay, like don't go from hysterical bonding to like no sex at all. Okay. Make sure you're having sex on a regular basis, because that helps. All right. That's why hysterical bonding is a thing. Hysterical bonding helps because it increases that oxytocin and gets your hormones going for that person again. Even though they've hurt you, it gets those hormones going. So if you've been having sex, don't stop. If it's less now, that's okay, because the hysterical bonding makes it a whole bunch. But go ahead and let it be less, but be consistent about it and still be enthusiastic about it. You know what I mean? Like, if it looks like we're going to have sex tonight, be enthusiastic about the idea. Tell your brain that that's what you want to do, because the more you tell your brain that, the more you're going to get from the encounter itself. You're going to like to have the intimacy, and you're going to be telling your brain already that to look forward to the intimacy, so that your brain can catch up with that and get on the same page that you are. Like, this is not somebody that we need to be anxious around, that we need to be scared of. This is somebody who brings comfort, brings pleasure. This is somebody we like to be close with bodily. I was trying to have so much compassion for him, and now I feel so idiotic. You're not an idiot for having compassion for the person you love. Why is that idiotic? Everybody will try and make you feel like that, but I'm like, we're talking about positive traits here. You're talking about being compassionate for the person you married. All right. Who else are you supposed to be compassionate for? If not him, who? Who do you save that for, if not the person you love and the person you're married to? People will try and make you feel bad for doing the right thing inside your relationship. Well, why are you forgiving him? Because forgiving is part of the deal. I love this person. I want to spend my entire life with them. That requires me forgiving them over and over again, not just once. Over and over again. They're going to do stuff to mess up. You're going to do stuff to mess up. We're going to have to forgive one another. It is the one person, okay? Don't be upset because you are showing true loving, understanding, compassionate, vulnerable, like enthusiastically happy about being in a relationship things to the person you're supposed to be enthusiastic about the relationship with. Okay. Yes, they hurt you. Yes, they did. Absolutely. But that's going to happen. You're going to hurt them too. That is always going to happen, because we are human beings and we fuck up. Okay. That's what we do. All right. So we are both going to hurt one another. We're both going to have to forgive one another. That's not idiotic at all. That's how this works. That's how you stay with a person through all the many phases of life that life is going to present to you as you are moving forward. Like having children, that's a phase. The point where your parents pass away, that's a phase. As you're going to retirement and getting grandkids, that's a phase. You are going to be different people throughout your life. And the one constant is going to be, this is the person I love and forgive above all others. No matter what is happening in the situation, this is still that person for me. That's what the whole point is. So how was he bonding with me, but still on limerence? Well, see, you keep saying that he's on limerence. How do you know that? You keep saying that. You may not be right. But if he's trying to bond with you, he loves you. You all have a relationship. He can feel the hormonal thing and still know damn well he loves you and wants to be with you. You can feel two things at the same time. Just because his brain chemicals are telling him, oh, you're so hot and heavy for her, does not mean that he does not love you dearly, love the life that you live together, want to be with you. It does not take away from that. It is not like, oh, just because you're in limerence, all of your emotions just fly out the window. That's not how that works. You still feel the things that you feel, but the hormones kind of get in the way for a little while. All right. Does that make sense? I think he's in limerence, as he's admitted he still has some fantasies of her. That doesn't even have to be limerence. That could just be fantasy stuff in your head. And he admitted that. So you asked him that question specifically. So knowing that he just left her alone, you knew what the answer to that was going to be. So you hadn't had, time for it to wear off just yet. So maybe not ask those questions. Remember we talked about that? Let's not ask questions like that, okay? Let's not ask him and get all deeply into, well, how do you feel about her? Do you still think about her? Again, that's making her important. That is saying that your feelings about this person, even though they're all hormones, they're real and they're important enough for me to keep asking you about it. So stop asking him, okay? Stop that. Cut it out. All right. But he tells me he loves me and is attracted to me. It's so confusing. You want to believe that he can only feel one thing, and that's not true. That's why it's confusing, because you're like, well, how can you love me and feel like that about her? You can feel more than one thing. You can indeed feel love for more than one person. We know that we can feel love for more than one person, right? And if you're in the committed part of love with you, and he gets the the hormonal, my feelings are going kind of love with her, then he's gonna feel a little confused too. But that's not real deep committed love. That is infatuation, little obsession. So you can feel a little infatuated and obsessed with somebody and still love somebody else. So you won't bring her up anymore. Good. Don't bring her up anymore. She is nobody. She is a damn peasant girl. Don't keep going down to the barn to go see her, okay? We've got to stop treating her like she is on your level. She's not, all right? She never was. If that was the case, if she was ever on your level, then he would be with her, right? He wouldn't be trying to be with you. He wouldn't be loving you. He wouldn't be attracted to you if she was just so wonderful. She got his hormones going. That was all that happened. Stop believing that it was so much bigger and much worse than that. It was his hormones, okay? And men don't get taught anything about their hormones. Have you noticed that? We get taught about our hormones. We get taught that, the luteal phase and all that. We get taught about all the things that can happen in our bodies when we're having our hormonal times, but men don't get taught about that. And so then they feel like when those hormones hit them, that feels real. That feels like a real thing. They're like, oh, I'm overwhelmed with feelings. And it's easy because it just overwhelms you. It's infatuation, it's obsession. And so they don't think real hard about it. They just enjoy the feeling. Men are like that. They're good at just enjoying the feeling of something. So they are just enjoying the ride of the hormones. It's not her. It was never her. It's his own hormones, his own feelings that he's riding this high of. And then eventually, if he's spending extra time with her, it would be very clear to him that, oh, that's not where these feelings came from. They actually came from inside me. That's how it works with everybody. As a matter of fact, feelings always come from inside you. When you are connected to somebody, those feelings come from inside you. They don't come from that person. You say, I'm beginning to understand he has an addiction. It's something like an addiction. It is. A psychiatrist that I used to work with, on the psychiatric floor, told me that that's how addiction works. You are in pain. You find something that dulls the pain, and then you will do anything not to be in pain anymore. Most people walk around, we're all walking wounded around here. We got a lot of traumas, we got a lot of issues, we got a lot of pain that's hanging on to us that we would love to let go of, but we don't really know how to do it. And so then this person comes along and stokes up your hormones and makes you forget about the pain. Oh my God, they've got to be the most wonderful thing on the planet because they made me forget the pain. But it's not them. It was just the hormones, the brain chemicals that got activated by that person. So it was never about them. It was never that person. It was never, oh, this person is so wonderful and I just want to be with them so badly. It was their brain telling them, oh, yes, this is a good person. You should be excited about this person and running with. He said, I would love for him to figure out his own pain and the root cause of his depression. Give him time. Give him time and you heal. Okay. As you work on your own pain, you will be the avatar to show him how to work on his. Okay. That's why it's so important for us to get on the healing path first. I know everybody always says they should be the one to help you, they should be the one to put you on the path. I'm trying to tell you, you can get on the path all by yourself. And as you start walking that path, he's going to see your back. That's a good thing. Okay. You're going to be walking away from him for a little bit, but it's only because you found the damn path out of the woods. You know the way now. So as you start going down that path and he sees your back and he sees you heading down this healing path, he's going to be like, damn, she must have found the path. And he's going to follow behind you. So that is where you're going to get him to understand his pain. My husband, he was 32 finding out that he had bipolar disorder. He did not know that at all. We had to figure that out together. He did not understand what was going on inside his own brain, what was causing his depression, what was causing the mania. He did not know that at all. And so once we figured out, okay, this is what it is, and he could get a grasp on it and be like, okay, and started to research a little bit. I made him go to the doctor, but a lot of him going to the doctor was me starting to heal myself, work on myself first. So I can say, well, I'm doing my part. You the one that's still having some difficulties here. Maybe you should go to the doctor. Got him to go to the doctor. He got diagnosed. Now we know that that's what it was this whole time. But he was living his entire life completely mentally ill and having no idea about it. No clue, because mental illness doesn't recognize itself. So he was walking around suffering for a long time and thinking that that was completely normal life. So that's what's happening with yours. For him to figure out his own pain and get through to his depression, he's got to understand that that's not normal life. And so you're going to be showing him that as you're healing. So I know I'm connected. He keeps saying we lost our connection. It was when we had our kids. I was so exhausted and the mental load was too much. Resentment built up towards each other, and now we're here. So my husband has been suffering for the last 5 years. And you know what you can do is try and make sure you're healing, you're working on your therapy. Good. You work on your part. You just try and go ahead and be as connected as you can, be aware of what he is saying, and just be there. And you work on your own healing, and as you work on your healing, he is going to see how it's done, and he's going to start working on his healing, and things are going to start to settle down. You're starting to be comfortable. So I was so calm just at the beginning of the week and was so hopeful. Well, yeah, what changed it? What made you not be hopeful anymore? Always be hopeful. Always be hopeful. All right. Even if you don't think that you have any reason to be hopeful anyway. Okay. It's the right idea. All right. Even if you can't see any reason to be hopeful, being hopeful itself will open your eyes to things that you didn't see at first. So if you just think that it's going to work out, it is all going to work out. My mantra on a regular basis is everything is going to work out exactly the way it's supposed to work out. That every day I remind myself of that. When you do that consistently and just decide that you're going to be hopeful about good things happening and bad things are not going to happen, anything that does happen is exactly the right thing for me. When you start doing that on a consistent basis, it helps with your healing. I just found out he lied about the start date of the affair. It adds time to my healing. He also tried to connect with AP on LinkedIn, and I feel like it was D-Day number 2. Okay, he lied about the start date. Did you ask him about that after you found out that he was talking to her, or was that beforehand? Was that one of those questions that I want you to stop asking? You need to stop with the questions, okay? Maybe you're like, I found out. Your brain will continuously ask those damn questions. I talked about this at the beginning. It is a trauma response. So you're going to add time to your healing because your brain is doing that on purpose, okay? That wasn't actually from him. That was from your brain adding the time on. So I need you to stop asking the question. I need you to stop. You are at the place where you know just about all you need to know. You know what happened between the two of them. Just leave it at that. Don't go into any more details, trying to find out anything extra. Because even at this point, what happens is you start comparing the story that he told you before to the story that he's telling you now. And so then you start thinking that he's lying and things don't totally match up. So you got to stop with the questioning. You say you asked him before. Yeah, we got to stop asking about that. Because if you just found out, then obviously something happened now that you got that new information. So I'm assuming it came from him because I'm like, where else would it have come from? Unless you're thinking that it came from her. And again, I wouldn't believe her. She'd be the last person I believe. So if you got it from her, I don't know if you should be mad. And if you got it from him, okay, we need to stop asking all these questions. We need to stop digging into the wound. I was a nurse for like 20 years. And one of my favorite lines as a nurse was to tell people for a wound to heal, you got to stop touching it. All right. Once it's already cleaned up, it's getting the dressing is changed once in a while. Let it heal. If you put your grubby little fingers in it, dirty, nasty fingers down into the wound, you are going to make it infected. That is what is going to happen every time. And it's very much the same with this. If you keep sticking your finger in that wound, asking the questions, tearing that wound back open again, it's going to get infected. So you got to stop with that, okay? So yes, he showed me the receipt and the dates didn't line up. Yeah, see, you were going all in. We need to get rid of all that shit, okay? We need to get rid of the receipts. We need to get rid of all of that so we can't keep going back to it. Because if you have it available, you're gonna want to go back to it. I got an oubliette. I have an oubliette. If you want me to put the information in a forgetting place, and that's what the oubliette is. If you want me to put it in a place where you can forget about it, it's $1 to put it in, it's $100 to get it out. Okay. So you think on that and you go ahead and decide that you want to go ahead and give it up. Okay. Give me $1. I will put it into cloud storage and it'll still be there, but you won't be able to keep going back to it because it's not healthy for you. It's not helping you at all to keep being able to go back to it. You know what I mean? Is that very true? I need to stop. Yeah. Yes. Yes. She also told her husband who told me to start dating. Okay. Yeah. All the digging, you're just digging in the wound. Let's not keep on tearing open that fresh skin. You know what happens when you have a wound? I don't know if you've ever been hurt badly enough that you had to grow new skin. I had burned my hand one time. I had to grow new skin on the back of my hand, and the skin is very tender. It's very, very thin. It will start to weave together. It will start to cover the area. But if you poke it, it will open up again. And then your body has to take the time to knit it all back together again. So we've got to stop puncturing this brand new, fresh skin with questions, with details that we don't need. Your brain wants to ask all these questions because it's a trauma response and it helps your brain say, we are still in danger. We should not let our guard down. And that's just absolutely not what you want to do. So we got to switch that up. We got to decide that we're not going to let our brains just run this whole situation, that we are going to be in control of what we do and make decisions based upon what we want to happen in our relationship, not on what has happened. We cannot make decisions based on the bad things that have happened in the past. Then you're just going to get more of the bad things that happened in the past. That's just how that works. You keep on trying to make all your decisions and all your moves based on what has already happened. If you already always do what you always did, you always get what you always got. That's what it comes down to, okay? So instead of doing that, we got to move forward. We got to start thinking about what we want our relationship to be like and try to come into alignment with the person that we would be if that relationship was perfect the way that we wanted it to be. All right, y'all. I think that's it for now. Any other questions, comments, thoughts, complaints? If you want to put something in, you can. But I'm going to talk to you a little bit about affirmations. I told you 4 things at the very beginning that you can do all on your own. That's going to start to change your mind after the trauma, changing physically what is going on with you. Okay. We're going to go for a mental one now, though. Your affirmation. When you have experienced a trauma, your brain will try and pick on you about the other person, but it will try and pick on you about you as well. So we've got to stop that from happening. We cannot continue to let our brains keep telling us over and over again how terrible, how trashy we are. You're welcome, Grace. So instead of telling ourselves terrible things about ourselves, we must start to tell ourselves wonderful things about ourselves, being consistently good about ourselves. Always changing your mind about who you really actually are. You're the queen. You are the main character of this story, okay? You are important. You are supposed to be here. This is your fairy tale. You're trying to go for your happily ever after. You deserve it, all right? You got to get into alignment with that and believe that about yourself so that you can have the hope, so you can have the vision for the future of this relationship, okay? So, in order to start doing your affirmations, what you need to do is look yourself in the eye, in your camera, in your mirror, whatever. Look at yourself, look yourself dead in the eye, and say with conviction your affirmation. Say it like you mean it. Say it like you have all the authority, and when you say it, it is a real thing. I want you to say it like you really, really mean it deep down in your heart because your brain doesn't know the difference between make believe and reality. So you can make believe that you feel like this about yourself. And if you say it like you really do believe it, your brain will recall just that. You saying it like you mean it. Looking at yourself in the mirror, in the camera, saying it like you mean it, your brain will only remember that. It will not remember that, oh, she didn't really feel like that about it. It will remember you with the attitude, with the conviction that you speak. Okay. And the more you do it, the more times your brain will have to remember. And so that message becomes the new message in your brain. Okay. So don't give yourself negative messages about yourself. Give yourself positive ones. Get yourself some affirmation cards. Look at this. It's like $5 at Five Below. You can find them on Amazon. You can find them on Etsy. Get yourself a deck, okay? Shuffle them up and tell yourself an affirmation every single solitary day and stick with it every day. Stick with that every day, all day long. Keep repeating it to yourself and saying it like you really believe it so that your brain will have that recording of you saying it like you mean it. And then it will start to believe because you keep saying that thing about yourself, okay? This one says, today I am flexible. Today I will adapt to changes in my life with an open mind and a positive outlook. I like that one. Today I am flexible. Today I will adapt to changes in my life with a positive mind, with an open mind and a positive outlook. That is what we need, right? To be able to accomplish this, we got to have the hope. We got to be flexible about how we're going to deal with this. Even if it requires letting him talk to the object of his limerence a little bit more. At least he wouldn't be lying at that point. Can we? We can at least get to the point where we're not lying. And then if you just keep on looking at him like, oh, he's so cute. Look at you. Look at you with all your feelings. If you keep acting like it's not that big of a deal, it will start to occur to him that maybe it's not that big of a deal. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my feelings are not correct about this. If you are experiencing that strong emotional connection, but then your wife is looking at you like, oh, and not getting all worked up and not getting mad. Those two things don't match. And then that starts to break up the limerence. So you've got to be confident in yourself enough to be able to say that you're not going to be intimidated by any other woman on this planet. Nobody can take your place. Nobody can take your throne. You are the queen. All right. So you got to believe that about yourself. Be hopeful and be flexible about things as you're going about your way. All right. He said, I can't be okay with him still in contact with her. I wish I could, but I can't. And if he's good and he's willing, but I'm like, when did you catch him hitting her up on LinkedIn? When was that? Was that a short time ago or has that been a minute? Because if he's doing better, okay, he's doing better. But if he is really still all stuck in his brain, it is like you're the reason why they can't be together. And then so he gets mad at you and idolizes her in his head. He say LinkedIn, okay, about a month ago. So he's been good since then. Has he been all sad and mopey since then? If he's been okay since then and been trying to connect with you and focusing on your relationship, it's probably going around. He searched your sister a few days ago, so he is still there. And again, just being nosy, trying to figure out what she's doing, and is she still thinking about me? And that's going to be a good thing too. If he goes ahead and searches it and finds that she's moved on, she's not thinking about him, that's going to help with the limerence too. So, yes, he's been trying to tell me, try with me. But then he also searches her. Let him search. Let him search. Let the limerence wear off. Let it fall all apart. Because as he is seeing her out here in real life more and more, it evaporates the fantasy. It really does. And just go ahead and focus on your relationship together. Focus on that. Just connecting together, having fun times together, not talking about the relationship a whole bunch. Stop looking for stuff with him. Stop going through his phone. Stop going through his messages. Stop asking him the questions. We're going to behave like we are past this. I'm not going to keep on bringing up the fact that you did this. I'm not going to keep asking you questions about it. We are going to behave like a couple who is happy together, and I'm going to trust you. I'm going to believe it. All right. That's what you can practice. And you showing him that is going to make him understand that I got a gem here. I got somebody who is still willing to trust me, still willing to behave in a positive way towards me, even though I did something stupid. I need to go ahead and make sure that I am doing the right thing by this person. So just focus on that as we are going forward. Don't pay her any mind. She's not the queen. She's not the main character. Stop trying to make her be. Okay. You can't put her in that position. She just doesn't belong. All right. Have you heard of the book The Courage to Stay by Dr. Kathy Nickerson? No, I haven't. That's a good one. I'll look that up. Is there something interesting in there? I've been trying to use that as my reference point. Oh, I'm gonna have to look that one up. I kept, the books that because it's been a minute for me. At the time when I was trying to figure it out, like the books that were out just sucked. The books that were out were like, oh yeah, he can do X, Y, and Z for you, and then you should be all healed up. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm gonna trust him who has been making bad decisions lately to make the right decisions and fix me. That seemed kind of dumb. That kind of seemed like a stupid thing to do. And when I was waiting around for him to fix me, I didn't feel any better. I started doing the things that I tell you all to do, and it made me feel better. It got me to a place where I could get up on my feet again instead of just waiting around to be the damsel that was fixed. You know what I mean? So she was explaining step by step how to get through this and to get through a fair recovery. So is she saying it for the two of you all together? Is that what it is? See, that's what I'm saying. A lot of the books that I read, it was like, oh, you both have to be working on it at the same time. And that messed me up too, because I was like, he was stubborn. So I was like, I gotta do something that I can do on my own without waiting on him, or else I'm just gonna be stuck. Okay, so it is about the both of you. That's great. I am all for that. And if he's cool with doing the book, great. But I work with, and I happen to have had a dude who wasn't interested. He wasn't trying to do the fair recovery. He wasn't trying to go to therapy. He wasn't trying to fix it like that. He was not about that. And so I did the research and I decided, I kept trying the things that people were telling me that worked. Like that's where the dreams formula came from. The decide, that came from everybody telling me, well, he has to make a decision. He has to decide that he wants to be with you. He has to decide that he's not going to do this craziness anymore. And I was like, I don't want to leave the decision up to him. He has not been on point with his decision making lately. I don't want to do that. And I decided that I was going to make the decision. And that helped. Making that decision and just deciding that you're not messing up our relationship. We are going to move forward. We're going to be all right. Things are going to be good between the two of us. When I made up my mind, that made everything much simpler because I didn't have to ask him if he wanted to participate. I just went ahead and went with it. So the whole dreams formula is like that. People telling me this is what you should do, and I come to find out that it didn't work. And now he's somewhat on board to learn more. That's good. But yeah, I think mine is the same. He's not going to therapy enough. Hey, he's going some. That's an improvement. That's a good thing. He's able to go some. And has your husband changed and learned more than it was me doing it first? Because at that point, he didn't have any reason not to. He couldn't keep saying that, oh, it was all me at that point because I was working on it. So that's what it is. You have to work on your own healing and step the hell off and let him work on his. Because you got to trust him to be a grown up enough that he understands that this is not working. Something has gone wrong here. This is causing more problems for my life. I need to do something better than this. You can't beat that into his head. You can't push him into therapy enough to make him understand. He has to do that. So you got to believe in him as a person. You chose this man. You believed in him from the very beginning. Don't stop believing now. Believe that he can change, he can learn, just like you can change and you can learn, and you be the example. Don't talk about it, be about it. You change and learn and show him that that is what the standard of the relationship is, that you're going to expand, that you're going to change, that you're going to learn, that you're going to grow, and you expect the same thing out of him. That is setting the standard. That's the boundary, is we are going to work on our own crap. We are not going to sit here and just be miserable and make our lives harder and make each other's lives harder for no reason. I'm going to work on my own stuff. I'm not going to sit here and supervise you on your stuff. I'm going to be working on my stuff, heading down this healing path. You're going to catch my back. You're going to see my back. But come on, catch up to me. I would like for you to be on the path with me. Does that make sense? And don't worry about it. He's in therapy enough. Hey, he started going to therapy. That's impressive in unto itself. All right. It took, like my husband saw like a psychiatrist who diagnosed him with PTSD, and he saw him a couple of times. And then a whole bunch of stuff happened. He couldn't go back to that doctor. And then he had a nurse practitioner who was like, oh, he's bipolar, right? Had no flipping idea. She just broke that down for us and told us exactly what it was. And now that I know what it is, I'm like, oh shit, I missed that. But she let us know. And he went to her for a few more times and stayed on medicine for a little while. But um, him taking medicine for the first time was the first time he ever felt normal. The first time he ever experienced what it was like to be even, his emotions not all over the place. That was the first time he had ever experienced that. So that was a little unsettling for him for a while. And then he found a good medicine that kept him nice and even. And he understood what it was like to be like that, to be able to sleep at night, to be able to, handle his emotions and not be so depressed all the time. He liked that. and he figured out, his routines and the things that he needs to do to maintain that. And now he's not even on any medication because he knows what he needs to do to maintain that status quo. So, it takes a little while, but a lot of what is going to help him is you starting to heal is going to show him that it is possible and you know how to do it. So let me follow you. Obviously, you got some insight that I don't have. So he'll follow behind you and he'll start doing the work for himself. Hoping he can do more for himself. Yes, yes, but I'm all hoping you can do more for yourself, Grace. That's all I'm worried about. I ain't worried about him at all. I know that if you do the work, we don't have to worry about it. It may be unfair, but I feel like we are the more complex beings. We are out here goddesses, okay? They are not able to keep up with us in enlightenment, all right? When we start lighting the path and healing and doing the work, they can see the path now. Now they're like, oh, that's where the path was, and then they can follow along. So I don't stress about him. Don't worry about him doing more for himself. You focus on what you can do to heal yourself, and that's going to take you much further. Thanks so much. You're welcome. I know I'm on my way, but it's just tough to carry it all the times. I know I got this though. You do. You absolutely do. You've already made up your mind about what you're gonna wanting to do. You just gotta face your fears about it, push through the fears, and get to where you want to be in this relationship. Write it down. Get your journal out, and everything is wonderful. Write that journal entry like everything is perfect. He's doing all of the things. I'm feeling great. He's feeling great. What would that look like? What would you be doing? What would he be doing? The things that you'll do for each other. Write it down in your journal, and then that'll be your map. That is your map. You get in alignment with, okay, I am happy and relaxed and I love him. Okay, well, then I got to be acting like I'm happy and relaxed and I love him. Get into alignment with what's on the page, and then you will carry yourself there. Okay. This is a lovely talk. You know, I love talking to you all for over an hour. Oh, got to answer the questions. If you catch the replay, #replay, put your comments, your questions down in the comments, and I will answer them for you. But in the meantime, that's about it. That is about it. Thank you so much for joining me for the Healing Hour Live. I think I'm doing a date next Thursday. I'll let you know. I'll know by Tuesday if I feel like I'm gonna go ahead and make it. It's like an hour show. I don't know. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna see how I'm doing. If I get to the 6:30 show, then I should be able to do the live at 9. But if I go to the 8:30 show, I won't be there. So just so you know. Okay. All righty, y'all. That's about it. Thank you so much for joining me for the on our live. I will see you back again. Maybe not next Thursday, but definitely the Thursday after that, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until then, do your affirmations, do your deep breathing, do your journaling, be grateful, and stop asking all those damn questions. They're not helping you. Okay? All right, y'all. I'll talk to you later. I love you, and I'm so, so proud of you. Bye. Bye, Instagram. And bye over here on YouTube and Facebook.